Welcome to Good Morning Hospitality, your one-stop shop for the latest news, noteworthy trends, and thought-provoking discussions across the industry. From hotels to short-term rentals to all things travel and hospitality, you'll find each episode equips you with the information that you need to start your week. Join us on Good Morning Hospitality every Wednesday, wherever you get your podcasts. Good morning.
Good morning, Sarah. Happy Wednesday to you.
Happy Wednesday to you too. We were laughing because before we went live today, apparently I forgot what day of the week it was. And Steve was just laughing at me like, oh, this little blonde.
No, I was just saying, sometimes this is the highlight of my week. Usually every week, right? It's 30 minutes of just happiness, smiling, going over cool stories, talking to all of you who are live on the show. Just makes my day and my week. So,
by the way, everybody, let us know where you're joining us from. Steve's in Miami. I'm at home for now. But I'll be on the road for the next couple of weeks.
What's going on?
So I'm flying to London later tonight. I still have to pack, of course. And I'm going to be on a cruise with Cunard. So I'll be exploring the Norwegian fjords, doing a quick pop through Paris, back, then doing Alaska, then upstate New York, then Vegas. And that kind of gets me through the first week of September. That's
my gosh, on the road, making things happen.
Yeah, wheeling and dealing.
Well, I have to, before we talk a little bit more about that, I got to say it's my dad's birthday today and he watches all of our shows. So happy birthday to you today on this Wednesday. Bob Turk. Happy birthday. God. Happy
birthday, Papa Turk.
One of our biggest fans. I know our parents are always watching our shows. It's so cool, right? As a parent now, when my kids do something like this, I'll be cheering them on. So thank you for watching. And happy birthday.
Oh, I love it. That's awesome. So cool. So
you're traveling for 6 weeks.
Ish.
How do you pack for 6 weeks? What do you do? Do you buy stuff when you're out there? Because I've never traveled for that amount of time.
Oh, no. I mean, I come back in between. It's not like a 6 week, oh gosh, no. That would make me so nervous. 6 week
journey with trunks, like your Louis Vuitton trunks that you would pack up and stack up and have people carry for you wherever you go.
No. We don't travel like that. No, but no, that's actually one of the big reasons. Sometimes people are like, oh, just stay on the East Coast between things. And I'm like, no, because I wear so many different things when I travel. It depends on what I'm traveling for. Like for this, we're doing a very big shoot. So it's a very specific type of attire. It's on camera. I mean, I basically have a on camera wardrobe, outfits, the whole thing. And then sometimes I'm going to a speaking engagement and it needs to be, business attire. And sometimes it's resort attire. So I need to come home and kind of regroup. It helps me. But yeah, so I'll be back. But that'll be it. And then September is going to be a whole other slew of things. So, good morning, John.
John Curtis, good morning from California. Good to see you here. And as always, let us know where you're watching from. Don't be shy. Put in that city right in the comment section and we'll read it here live. But yeah, I'm happy you're traveling a lot. I don't have any travel coming up. I need to see. Summer vacation's almost done for kids. We've been doing a lot of staycation stuff. I'll be doing that this weekend here on Miami Beach. So, good things going on here.
Well, I think I have a trip due to Miami soon, maybe in September. So, or September and October. We'll see.
We'll definitely link up. We're definitely linking up and we'll do it live.
We're linking up. Oh my gosh. That sounded what is corporate talk? Wow.
Sorry. A corporate hotel world.
We'll link up.
We'll sync up our calendars.
We'll
talk to my people.
Back on a plan.
Talk to my people. We'll set it up. Okay.
Oh, crazy. All right. Well, let's go ahead and hop into these topics today.
Let's do it.
Ready. All right. I like this. Wyndham, they've got a deal with Grubhub that's happening. And, it's interesting because they kind of call it the Uberization of hotels. Sure. But so overview, Wyndham's partnering with Grubhub. Not too much of a surprise. We've actually seen Grubhub partner with other hotel brands. But it's cool because they're going to be providing food delivery to guests in over 1,200 U.S. hotels. What's interesting with this is that it's more than just a partnership because obviously you can order Grubhub from anywhere, but guests will actually get access to free Grubhub Plus membership with different benefits. So it's interesting. I mean,
they get a little discount. I saw like from like the delivery fee. What I would be curious about, I don't think I saw this in the article, was does Wyndham get a little kickback, right, from every order that goes through? I would be setting that up, right? Like if I was going to give up my room service and market area, which sometimes in some hotels room services runs at a loss. I get it. But maybe there's a way that they are also benefiting from that, because I had tried to set that up when I was in hotels. And before we skip them, I just want to say hello to Gloria. She's returning back for week 2. She was a first-time viewer last week, so happy
welcome, Gloria.
About the key lime pie. I'm going to post that video pretty soon. I got to sit down and finish editing it, but I'll post my trip to Key West. And Christelle always joining us.
Good morning, Christelle. Nice seeing. By the way, Christelle and I had the best croissant that's in Los Angeles last week from, what is it, Family and Friends, something like that. And we met up for our coffee. So there you go.
There you go. See, making connections in the real world that we have here. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so anyway, I think that it's interesting for Wyndham. Like you said, I'm curious to see how it goes, because like you said, everyone orders their Uber Eats or Grubhub or DoorDash, or whatever it might be. So if you do get a discount, I could see why you would do it. I just hate that you're maybe taking away some services and thinking this will work, but hopefully it works for everybody. Because I know Wyndham is usually in those bargain hotels and looking for a good deal, and usually in those more affordable tiers, we'll say, right?
Yeah.
So they're trying to give more offerings as they grow.
Totally. And so it actually says in the article, they haven't actually disclosed whether they're receiving a commission from Grubhub orders or a fee for this promotion, because it will be branded QR codes potentially. But I mean, it's kind of this like loyalty sort of game and hook.
And you get all the information from all the QR scans. Like you'll be able to see who was there and who ordered and all that fun stuff and all the data that people like having. So this will be interesting to see.
But on a bigger thing, this was kind of talking about how this is the move towards like integrating gig economy services into the guest experience, that hence the Uberization. What are your thoughts on that? I have some, but I want to hear yours first.
Look, I think it's been there for a long time. Like, I think this is a fancy way of saying it. Like, there's been staffing companies working in hotels for a long time. Yeah. And when I had my staffing company, I remember I was the only one in Miami at the time who was using an Uber style app where you could request on demand somebody, and then we would manually match it, but it felt like it was happening magically. You could have staff show up when you needed it versus having to call and fill out forms and all these things. So it's been going on for a long time, but it also messes on the team a lot of times, right? Because you bring in people who don't know the hotel or don't know their culture or don't know how to take care of a guest. And you can't tell if they are a true hospitality pro who wants to help people. But there's a lot of things that are outsourced in hotels already, right? And you don't realize, right? Whether it's valet or overnight cleaning or restaurants or your pool and beach operation. A lot of things continue to start getting outsourced because of the cost of doing business is so expensive. So there's a fine line of doing it the right way where you don't realize that it's not the actual hotel team or the hotel offering. So it's been happening a while, but I know that now with technology and new things and shortness of staff, like people are trying to figure out solutions.
Well, yeah, it's more attractive. I mean, here at the end of the day, it all depends on each brand's integrity and how much they want to extend the service experience. Because anytime they hand off a guest, be it in an Uber, be it with food delivery, all of that, they're basically trusting that service provider to deliver at the standards that the hotel has presented themselves as, so maybe in like a mid-level hotel, not so big of a deal just because standards are not as high, but in higher end hotels, there's definitely, I think, going to be a little bit more resistance with that, just because it is about that through line. As somebody that was a concierge that was basically booking people, be it at restaurants or activities out of the property, that was always something that was very important to us, is that we did enough of our homework so that we knew that if we referred somebody to somewhere, they're sort of having an extension of that experience if they had booked at the Peninsula or the Four Seasons or Fairmont, whatever that is. So,
I tried. So this is not, I can't believe I was going to say 4 years ago, but 4 years ago when I was still in the hotel I tried to set up ghost kitchens right in my hotel because we were losing out to Uber delivery drivers, and we would like make it hard for them to get in the hotels, especially at a big resort. And so the pitch was, we'll create Steve's Pizza or Steve's Sushi as an offering that shows up on Uber Eats, and our hotel guests won't know the difference, but it will be at a lower price point because we won't have to deliver the room service table that has all the labor. And
so you set it up as like a ghost kitchen type thing.
Yeah, so got approved all the way up, and then I got shut down at the corporate level. So unfortunately, but I think it's still a great idea. So if you have a hotel and you want to work on that, let me know. I still have all the details.
Ooh, look at that. Giving out free advice here. You're just crazy. All right, let's talk about what's going on with this. Peachtree, next topic here. Peachtree, they're launching a $250 million fund to jump on hotel market dislocation. I actually was reading about this earlier. Did you do a deep dive into this yet?
Yeah, I was looking at it, and it's interesting because I'm at that time where I'm raising money.
Yeah, so that's why I want to hear your thoughts on this, because I'm not totally in this space, but I feel like you'll have a lot more to say on it.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like, they make it sound really hardcore with all these fancy words in this article, right? Like the dislocation of things. But basically what it's saying is that there's hotels that do well, right? But they need short-term money, or they may need a loan to cover something, or they call it mezz debt, to cover something for a little bit. And it's hard to get the right amount of money at the right price. And some hotels are going to struggle really hard because maybe their balance sheets aren't perfect, but they do have a good operation. And so what Peachtree is realizing is, I forgot the number, they said it was $1.5 billion dollars, and loans are probably going to come due here soon. And a lot of hotels won't be able to cover what they are owing. And so Peachtree will come in and say, hey, we will loan you this money for a certain return. And so sometimes it's just a loan and you get paid back. Sometimes they get equity in the project. So I'm curious to see what they do, but they've been very good, Peachtree, ever since like when they started. They've been very smart in seeing how waves of, tough financial times will come and taking advantage, but also being a good partner to people. So I'm curious to see where it goes, because I've seen it already in our project where we knew we were going to have some challenges, but we've actually done really well. But that things would be a little bit more expensive on the borrowing side. And how do you balance that out and find the right partner to do it? So they've seen it.
Yeah. It's definitely going to be interesting. So definitely eyes and ears on that. That's for sure.
Yeah. I think for people to really understand, is like they're going to kind of fill in where the banks may not. Right. So if a bank says no, you're going to go to Peachtree and show them we have a good hotel, we have a good operation. We just need a partner to see us through on this part.
Totally. Yeah. It's great. So, and they were even, they're going to be seeking sort of like off-market acquisitions, like underperforming hotels, preferred and hybrid equity. They've got like a bunch of different things. So it's something
they'll buy your hotel, right? They say, all right, your hotel is a good hotel. You just don't have the money to run it anymore.
Exactly.
We'll save you.
So, very cool. Very interesting. So totally. So we'll check that out. Okay, let's move on here to our next topic, because we've got so much to cover.
A lot packed in today.
And there's some that like I need to go off on, so that's why I'm holding myself back. So this was interesting. Luxury credit cards and loyalty programs are key to hotel earnings. So this is interesting because this is kind of doing a little bit of an overview as far as some of the big brands like, Hilton, Marriott, where they were seeing travel demand, would it be stabilizing? And this is kind of the time, like after Q2, whether it's different bills were passing, all of that right now is kind of like, okay, this is really going to be where we can kind of, the linchpin that we can kind of determine where the rest of the year is going to be going. And, there's a couple things that we're kind of seeing is that, luxury hotel boom still staying strong despite everything that's going on in the economy and the world. So that's still kind of like the brightest spot. They are, and then there's growth in co-branded credit cards. So hotel groups have really seen their income from co-branded credit cards like continue to kind of grow. They haven't reported specific details, but credit card fees, residential branding, all of that. So
they're making a lot of money with these, loyalty programs, because people really are staying strong to those. And what we see in this too is that with leisure bookings kind of slowing down a little bit in the mid-tier, they're counting on people using those points and getting into their hotels because they are on that loyalty program. And then once they're there, they're tracking how much they're spending. And what we're seeing is if you're usually someone who has one of these loyalty cards and you're spending those credit card points to get that trip, usually you're making a little bit more money than the others, and you'll spend more once you're on property is what they're seeing. So it's an interesting thing that's going on. And hotels are really, really turning into, like we see it on some of those public reports, that they're making so much money off of these membership programs and credit card fees. It's incredible. And so it hit me when I was sitting on the airplanes when they're always pushing the credit card, like, hey, sign up today and get 50,000 points, because they make so much money from those credit cards that everyone signs up for. It's really a strong part of those balance sheets, and hotels are really starting to see the same thing too. So really interesting to see, but I still haven't really been super loyal to a brand. Whatever my American Express points give me, that's what I'm going with usually.
Yeah, I think that brand loyalty, I was never in that game until I started traveling a lot, and it does make a difference. It makes a difference for sure. So, you just it's like, oh, I'm going to be earning for like future trips, like all of the stuff that we say, that they say, like it's
gamify, turn it into the game. They got you.
Oh, absolutely gamified. That's an excellent point with that. So, this was really interesting. Again, very interesting to see steady corporate travels remaining steady. I also love this. They had a note about favorable demographics. 30% of the U.S. population over the age of 55 account for over 70% of the U.S. net worth.
Whoa.
That's a lot.
Mucho dinero.
Yeah.
Mucho dinero out there. Well, Christelle's saying childcare is outsourced to us, sitters in a second. Shout out to Sitters in a Second.
Yeah.
Many luxury hotels and resorts nationwide. We grew over the last 30 years in Ritz-Carlton, always with the Ritz-Carlton credo in mind. Yeah, that's a big one. And also, I'm sure the hotel was happy to do it, because that is another area where there are risks that happen when you're taking care of kids, and you use a certain type of insurance and trained professional. And how do I know that? Because I started off as a kids club attendant back at the Rosemont Beach Hotel, and people would pay me to babysit their kids in the hotel room. And looking back, I'm like, how did that even happen? But it was okay back then. So
wow.
Christelle created things to make sure that people are safe.
No, that's great. Wow. Yeah. Look at you. Look
17 years old, 17 years old, babysitting kids.
Nobody trusted me with their kids. I don't know why. Anyway.
Interesting.
Totally. All right. One last topic here before we switch into the world of travel. Ace Hotel. So for those that are a fan of the Ace Hotel brand, in full transparency, it's been a little challenging for them since the pandemic, and they've had a few almost sales, and they're in the mix right now with they're close to reaching a sale agreement with a Tokyo-based firm. So
interesting to see. 85 million. I think they have 8 locations.
Yeah.
Right. So about 10 million per location. Seems like a good deal for a brand that people really like. But they've been up for sale a couple times now, and so I'm interested to see what people are seeing once they look at those books. What happens? Why does it keep happening over and over?
Yeah. Again? Why does it keep because it's a unique brand. I'll never forget how probably back in 2015, they were still relatively new in the downtown location in Washington, in Los Angeles. And my dad came to visit, and I was having just a hard time finding a decent rate. And I ended up setting him up there. And the style's it's exposed cement bed low on the floor. My dad's 6'2", and he calls me up after he checks, and he's like, so, is this a choice? Do they save money by having everything be exposed cement? Yes. I'll just never forget being wow, that is just so not a usual brand for, a parent necessarily, an aging parent. And I just thought it was so funny. But I'm a big fan of the brand. It's a vibe. It's a whole thing. But, I can see how maybe it might be lost on some generations.
Yeah, a little different than what he's used to, I'm sure. Sounds like he's very well traveled.
Yeah, exactly.
And Paul Manzi saying, Steve Journey climbing the corporate ladder. Listen, man, started from the bottom. Now we're here. That's what I keep saying. Started all the way from the bottom. Now we're coming up.
Okay.
Got to make that tip money out there, Paul.
Tip money. Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, there you go. We get to see a little bit of our personalities with that.
Yeah, I'm trying a new drink today, everybody. This sencha shot from Japan. Let's see how it
Okay.
is.
How you
Sorry.
feeling? You feeling
I feel pretty
jazzed?
energized. Yeah, I'm trying to get off
Okay.
the Celsius kick. I haven't had one of those in a month. That was
What do
giving
you
me
mean?
heart problems. Too
Oh,
much.
yeah.
Anyways, this is behind the scenes, everybody.
There you go. Definitely highly caffeinated. All right, let's talk about big news here.
Squirrel.
Southwest Airlines. Southwest Airlines says, we kind of heard them saying like, oh, we're gonna see about not doing like their traditional seating, which makes Southwest what it is, and they're gonna test assigned seating starting in 2026. So
walk me through this, right? Because like I've only flown Southwest maybe once, and I don't really remember everything about why it's important to like just be able to pick your seat. Like why is like I feel like that would stress me out not knowing where I'm sitting before I get on the plane. Why do people love this? Did you ever fly? Was that part of what you did?
Yeah, I've flown it a couple of times. Yeah, so basically, for those that don't know, but like basically when you fly Southwest, you have to at the 24-hour mark, you have to check in as soon as possible. And as soon as you check in, you are given a number in line for boarding. And so you basically board based off of that. So if you wait till the last minute, you will be one of the last people to board, and you're kind of left with whatever leftover seats to choose. But it's open seating boarding process. And I mean, people are into it. It's different than what everybody did. I think for me, it goes so much with the identity of Southwest that there's going to be pushback.
Of course, yeah, that's their brand, right? It was like low cost carrier, everyone ultra friendly. Totally. You pick your own seat, right? There is no first class, right? It was we all fly together.
Totally. And so this is it's basically it's like they're going to have that you can purchase kind of like different boarding groups, so they'll have like extra leg room in certain groups. It just for me it's like now that they're going to have that you're going to be choosing seats, now they become more comparable to the sort of legacy airlines like American, Delta, United, and it's before that boarding style, that seat choosing style just made it so unique. And I don't know. I think that there's just going to be a lot of pushback.
I think so too, right? Because people love it. Like you see diehards about it. You see all the news popping up. Like we're talking about it today because people made a big deal about it. So, and we've been talking about it for I think over a year. We announced it, I think, when they first started talking about it. So now they're here. Let's see how it actually goes.
Yeah, exactly. So that'll definitely be. But let us know if you happen to be a fan of Southwest. I think we do have a couple of viewers that join us that are fans of Southwest. Let us know what you think about it, because I mean I fly it not too much, but as a brand, I think it's not a great move. But I understand from a revenue perspective. But there you
go. Stay open for business.
Yeah. Okay. Our dear friends in Barcelona, always fighting over tourism. And they are planning on closing 2 cruise terminals, sort of as an effort to kind of curb this over tourism. They're hoping that this will kind of reduce that daily cruise traffic to protect its urban core. I mean, don't you guys remember last year it was like the residents were with water bottles squirting water at tourists?
Yeah. Crazy. Right? This is what I don't understand. So they're banned short-term rentals. I think by 2029, there's no more short-term rentals. So you got to stay in the hotel. Fine. Mm-hmm. All right. Now you're going to close the 2 cruise terminals. It's going to save, I think they said about 5,000 people a day from wandering the streets. And they want it to be more intentional travel and more about the history and the culture versus, I guess, is it a big party city? I never saw the party city when I went there. You can. It's a fun city. There's a lot to do there. But people love coming to your city. There's more and more people being, traveling the world now, and people are excited to go. But they really don't want people to come because they said they don't want it to be like a fantasy land or a Disneyland where there's no residents and it's only tourists and people that are in the core of the city that are just travelers. So I understand you got to protect that. But I feel like there's got to be a better way. Like you don't want to turn away everybody because that's a lot of money that comes in and does all those restaurants and cafes and
totally
hotels and museums. And tax money. We saw like in Venice where you had to pay a little bit extra to get into Venice.
Yeah.
Maybe there's something like that, right? And so you can start building that infrastructure. But you travel a lot more than me. I haven't been to Barcelona for a long time. When was the last time you were there?
I've never been there actually. Yeah,
You
wild.
take a cruise over there.
Yeah. I've never actually been there. I have good friends that work there, but it's I can't, because again, I haven't been there, so I can't speak to it, but I still can't imagine. Look, if tourism is a big part of the business of the economy, I understand like the effects that it can like raise prices, this, that, but like also these ancillary businesses, like, don't you want to make
like
money?
I get, like we do it here a little bit in Miami Beach when we really focus on the spring break crowd that was destroying the city.
Yeah.
Like trashing the place and
Look,
breaking
if it's
things.
that, no,
Stealing,
nobody wants
right?
that.
We don't want that, right?
Yeah.
But also, I haven't seen that headline that people are running out on food tabs and fighting in the streets and causing a ruckus. So I'm going to look into this a little bit more. I feel like we got to call some of our friends in Barcelona. Are you from Barcelona watching here? Let us know. We would love just to hit you up, get some live reporting on the streets of Barcelona, see what's going on over there.
The streets of Barcelona. No, that'll be interesting to see. So, wait. Oh gosh, time is flying, but I really want to talk about this last topic here. Everybody's probably seen this if you're on social media. Nothing beats a Jet2 holiday. This is fantastic. So, this basically, there was a jingle for a commercial. Nothing beats a Jet2 holiday. And it's now turned into this meme that's all over TikTok, all over Instagram. And what's cool about it is the brand is really kind of embracing this meme. And by the way, when they talk about Jet2, the meme is like people showing like tragic things happening. Exactly. Tragic. And so, but it's cool. Like, by the way, I think any brand, even if it's not necessarily positively associated, I love when something like this happens and the brand just leans into it and they play with it,
Yes, I think it's cool because some brands would be like, oh my God, we don't want to be associated with all these terrible things that people are showing on these videos with our jingle over it. Right. Because really it's like terrible things happening to people or like gross things happening on trips. And so some brands I could see very quickly, like, we don't want this to be associated with us. And they're going the other way. Like, no, we like this. And we're going to lean in to give away vacations and do things that are competitions and doing some fun things, leaning into the trend. Because again, this will last another 15 minutes, right? Yeah. But they're leaning into it and really enjoying it.
But also, let's just talk about the sheer visibility. The one video that has like the most number of likes that uses this has racked up 35 million likes.
Yeah, and just think about it, there's probably billions of views with their jingle on it.
With all of them, yes, absolutely. And I actually saw a video where the voiceover actress that did it, she was just talking about how like she kind of giggles, like she'll be somewhere, she'll be in a cafe, and somebody opens up, and she like hears it, and she's like, nobody knows it's me. And so I'm like, girl, when they call you in for that next voiceover, there's a couple of zeros that should be added to that.
And I didn't know what Jet2 was until I started seeing this everywhere. So for me, it was like, oh, what is Jet2? And I looked it up. I was like, oh, it's an airline. Cool. I see what this is. Very cool.
Very, very lucky for them. So
social media is just interesting, right? Like I want to mention this because it was everywhere. And I feel bad for like the family. The Coldplay concert that was everywhere. The couple like that blew up. And the couple
shooters,
right?
I haven't addressed
got caught.
But
it just shows you the power of social media, how something can be hooked on and be shot around the world for good, like this with Jet2, or to like really destroy a lot of people's worlds in that family, which I feel bad for on that part. But I don't feel bad for those two that were doing their thing.
I mean, at the end of the day, you have to remember that we live in a very public world. So anytime that you're out, like people have cell phones, people have things, and it's just, you should just always remember that everything that you do offline publicly as well as online. There's a big trend I'm seeing a lot of younger generations of men and women that are just like really sharing it all. And I get into a discussion with friends of mine, there's somebody that I know that is like going through a breakup and she's sharing every aspect of it online. And maybe it's a generational thing, she's in her mid-20s, but I'm like, at some point you might Like
Regret that. Yeah.
you just be, yeah. I mean, here's the thing is like Instagram just announced as of like last week that now anything that's on Instagram is like searchable on Google. So like, do you want that? But I think a lot of people are, oh, I want to be an influencer. I want to be this. And at some point where maybe a career takes a different turn, are you then going to look back and be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I shared all of this online.
I give us. We said Bob Turk's birthday today. Fantastic award-winning attorney. Gave me great advice when I started my career at the very beginning as a supervisor with access to email. He said, never type an email you wouldn't want to see on the front page of a newspaper because it's all accessible. And so I had that mindset with everything I post or share. Because there's times I'll post something like, no, I'm not going to post that one. Right? Like I don't want that on the front page of a newspaper. Right? And so that's really a good tip that I got, and I share that with everyone that ever worked with me ever since. Know that. So when you want to send that angry email or send something, a text or whatever it might be, take a minute.
Text is another one. I think I'd like to think that people kind of give pause with emails. Maybe not everybody, but definitely text. I'm also very mindful at any point, a text or a DM could be screenshot. I've seen it happen. Like, I mean, that's great advice that your dad gave you, but that's so true. Just, hey, look, stuff can be screenshotted, and whether it's taken out of context or this or that, just be super mindful.
I like it. See, helping people out there in the world.
Exactly. All right. Let's do a quick real-time recap. I have a quick one.
All right.
If you want. So I thought this was interesting. So I dined at a restaurant. Don't need to say what restaurant. But I was like, I was shocked because, okay, so, a restaurant will have, they've got their napkins and they happen to have like a paper wrap around the napkin. Take it off. And this was a pretty high-end restaurant in a high-end location. And I put the wrap to the side because normally they come and look, even Cheesecake Factory, they take the paper wrap on the napkin off the table. It took them till halfway through the dinner service. And then because I was like, my mind was like, I was losing my mind over. I was like, why is this still on the table? You're serving us food. What? And my friend was like, we'll put it in the spotlight. Walk right past it. Finally we were like, hey, can you take this off the table? They're like, yeah. And then it was like, even over like the service station, it was like, that paper that is wrapped around the napkin will not disappear. What is going on? But it made me think, like, what are these little things that you pick up on? Like, I mean, I'm not a food critic, but to me, I'm like, come on, guys, like there's a certain caliber. But I was losing.
I'm going to give you one then because something happened to me.
Yeah.
I don't want to say what day, but I was at a fancy 5-star hotel having breakfast.
Yeah.
And it's just me because I'm waiting for a meeting.
Yeah.
And the server on one side of the table started talking to the server on the other side of the table as if I wasn't there, like having a full conversation about get me this, I need this, get this. And I just looked up at both of them, and then they realized like it went up for like 30 seconds. And 30 seconds when you're doing that feels like a long time as it's going on.
Of course.
And so I was like, come on, guys. Like I'm not a piece of furniture here sitting here. I'm having breakfast waiting for someone to come.
Yeah. And here's the thing. My service was lovely. So it really got me thinking
about things that make you think about.
Like, is this a training thing? Is this an awareness thing? I mean, yeah, it's like all of it. I just, in my mind, I was just on fire with that. But
no, they're certainly appreciative. That precept has to be tight. I would tell that restaurant, right?
Yep.
About my teams, I would say, hey, it's a busy holiday weekend. We're gonna be stressed. We know things will happen, but please. Make sure do not put your armpit in anyone's face as you're reaching across the table, and don't talk over people like their furniture. That would be my go-to, because you start doing things as you're rushing around. Anyhow, we could talk about this all day, and we're way over, everybody.
Woo, we're way over. Will in the background, by the way, he was chiming in. He was saying both training and awareness are part of that, in his opinion. Yes. We agree. All right, let's get to our hospitality quote before we wrap up.
Let's do it. Shall I read it?
Yes, you should. I talked a lot today.
Success in management requires learning as fast as the world is changing. Warren Bennis. And that is true. Success in management requires learning as fast as the world is changing. And the world is changing very fast. I feel like every day there's new tools, new technology, new ways of doing things. Mm-hmm. And it's hard to keep up. I was starting to feel overwhelmed. I was like, man, like, especially with all these new technology tools, like, I feel like I'm pretty tech savvy, but it seems like every day there's something new coming out. If you're not learning it, you're falling behind. So it's like, curious about how that will be, like that burnout of too much tech coming out that you have to learn fast.
Totally. Well, and I always just remind people, especially when it seems overwhelming, is like, think about what you use. We talked about earlier, this like Uberization of Grubhub and this and that. I mean, to me, that just makes sense because that's what people are using in their off time, and so it's like, if you are using something, or if you're realizing that you're doing, or maybe somebody in your family, because it could also be generational. Maybe your kids they're leaning into something, or your parents. It only makes sense to implement and tap into people's habits to help streamline the guest experience, because it is what we're doing anyway. So I always say, look to that. When people are like, oh, what are the trends? I'm like, you're probably part of that, part of that demographic doing something. So what are you doing? And I think it changes the viewpoint of that a lot.
I agree with you. So good quote to end the show on. Man, we packed a lot in here. We went over 5 minutes. We rarely do that.
I know.
35 minutes. We talked about a lot of things this week, and we love all of you joining again on the live. Love seeing so many familiar faces and some new ones as well. And make sure, if you found any value in this, your friends will find value too. So make sure to share, subscribe, and we'll see you here again next week. So you want to sign off for us this time, Sarah?
Everybody stay hospitable.